understand that this really isn't about the economy or states' rights or immigration or anything like this. We're experiencing a full frontal attack, and they're not going to stop until they do what they want to do. That's the reality of it.
Obama does not love this country. He's not an American.
I started reading philosophy about 3 years ago. I ended up with a tremendous desire for American history, and somehow I ended up getting into philosophy, and I started studying apologetics because I have a lot of friends that don't believe like I do, and so I find it entertaining to be able to try to defend my worldview against theirs, and it's really enlightening. But along the way, you read from authors like Karl Marx, then you start hearing these little things like the name Saul Alinsky, or, and then everybody knows the Hitler thing, and then you hear about, Mao Zedong, and you hear about, Che Guevara, and all of a sudden you start reading about these different worldviews. The book I was reading was called Battle for Truth, and it was how to defend the Christian worldview against all opposition. And you could look at it that way, or you could look at it just a way that it explains the four most prominent worldviews through the eyes of politics, economy, law, sociology, physiology, psychology, and all these other things, so you get an idea of how they work. And so by the time I was done with that book and several other ones, it was pretty clear to me that this really isn't about trying to make things better for us. This is about bringing us down. And the problem is that some people actually out there actually think that things are going well. I mean, I have friends that actually worship Obama. And everything he's doing, they say everything with a capital E is just exactly what they want. And so that's really the struggle that we're up against.
You need new friends.
I know, I believe me. Hey, you know what, that's one of the reasons why I left Hawaii, because it is probably, I don't know if it's the most democratic place. I mean, heck, I think they had a king less than 100 years ago. I think they want a king again. But I mean, everywhere you go, you just can't believe some of the, you're like, huh? But, I watch the TV and get frustrated. If I could, I probably would have run for Senate or higher. I mean, God knows that. Look at the leadership got up there now. I thought, I could do that, at least. And so, I just want to. I'm in it to win it, and I'm in it to make a difference, and I'm in it to stand against all odds. I don't care. I'm already done. I talked to my wife. I talked to my son. I said, this is about doing what I can do, and to be able to try to make a difference in my life and those around me. So people they'll either accept me or they can accept the same
Tom, I think they're one of the most heartfelt candidates I've heard,
In a long time.
and I think they'll be much more responsive than Carlos Bilbao did, and I think this he's going to be a lame duck.
How do we get your name out there? How do we get your exposure?
The signs didn't come. I was hoping they were going to be here tonight and we could distribute them. So if on your little paper that you signed, if you're willing to take signs, literature, if you're willing to get your email, I don't know, maybe some of you don't or do, but if you do, indicate on that little paper I sent around, and we'll make sure you get signs, literature, and emails.
Create a newsletter list if you would. That's worked for me. I've driven all of my friends away by doing it. But send them to my website. Hopefully my website's is informative enough. I did my first 10th Amendment speech. Rex Randall invited me to speak at the band show for my first time, so I did a little 3-minute stint there. So you can send them there. They can kind of get an idea of where I am. I've got my platform up there. I've got the reason why I run on the front page.
Is your website on there?
This is the website's on here and its number and everything else.
Just whatever you can. People say money, 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 but if you gave me money, I'm not really sure what I would do with it. I mean, it's about getting. I need to get in the face of everybody in my district. And if you have a place for me that you can put me, that you feel like I'd be safe, and not freak everybody out, or even if that's what you desire.
Like this.
Yeah, and I'll do them every night. I'll do them all night. it's 3 weeks away, it's 4 weeks away, and I gotta take Carlos out.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to we gotta get his name across the district, so this is not about Tom. This is about our values. This is about our lifestyle, our nation, our state. And so we've gotta make as much effort as Tom is making to make sure that what we've talked about tonight happens.
I raised $15 so far. Everything else I'm spending the money I have. It's a shoestring deal, but. Yeah.
I think there's a certain amount of urgency with this. I don't know what kind of time we've got, but I think the agenda of these people and our higher ups is to get all of this immigration and fuel control and Wall Street control and all of that done as quick as they can before the elections in November, because they know they're gonna, if they can't get it then they've had it. But if they can get it in and everything, I mean, so how on earth can somebody get that taken care of before that time? All of this stuff, how can it be coalesced and these tea parties, I mean,
It's the same way Obama pushed healthcare through.
but those things need to double and triple and quadruple, and they need to populate that Capitol Mall in there about 6 inches deep with all the way down through there with people like they did when Martin Luther King ganged up on them, with the black issue and stuff like that, free rights.
So how do you get the mall 6 inches deep?
Well, maybe I'll call them 5 feet, body to body.
We all have to lay down.
Smelling armpits, we have to get in there.
The only way to affect any change is to be able to make people on a personal, is to make people hurt on a personal level. So if you're one of those people that's politically motivated, obviously you're here, and I appreciate you coming because you're actually interested in concerns. But the ones that are kind of apathetic, they need something to happen to them personally. So, if you have a hammer, no. I mean by that simply that people have to be without a job. It's kind of like God. And what I mean by that is, people, we get funny, we live our lives and everything's going great. I don't know how many of you guys are like Christians or whatever, but I am. And so what I'll do is I'll be really good and I'll pray every night, kind of do everything, and things are going great, and I'm just really noticing my life is just doing really great. And then I get really, really busy, and then I forget about doing it. And then all of a sudden my life starts to just not fall apart necessarily, but it starts to crumble, and I'm like, what's going on? What am I doing? Yeah, and so the thing is I guess, as I try to make that connection, and I hope I do, is that God puts us in a position to be able to face Him. And if sometimes we have to be brought all the way down to rock bottom before we'll face Him. And I think as a nation, that's where we are right now. But I think to answer your question more about how you get people motivated, I don't know. But that's what people are going to have to do, is they're going to have to get to the point where they don't have a job, they don't have food, they don't have the government going to help them out, and they don't know where they're going to turn. And then when they start getting to that point, then they're going to start waking up. And you see that happening now with the unemployment rate going through the roof. I mean, I'm talking to some of my pastor friends, the churches are being flooded.
Well, I want to ask you guys to be thinking of good places to put signs, because we'll be in touch with you. We want you to help us. This is, like I said, this is everybody's battle. And so we need you to be willing and help us put out signs, and be thinking of where they can go. They're just late getting here. We're sorry.
Are they good like on the highway in front of our houses? Are they?
I think the question I'd like to ask, if I can, is there anything or any reason why I might not have anybody's support tonight?
Well, this is
Something
the first
I've
I've
said.
heard of you.
Something I've said, something you wish I'd say?
He's asking for input. He needs feedback.
Something, not that you say anything not with support, I think you're gonna have to present yourself on specific ideas, school, health, and welfare ideas, besides just start rambling on about federal government.
Solutions?
You're gonna be a state politician, you gotta live with the feds.